What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys a bit of a late review for Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 89. Now no longer in Shonen Jump, but it moved, and there's going to be a few more breaks here, there, and everywhere. But either way, we should still be able to get the reviews out and yada, yada, yada. They just might take a bit more of a back seat. Not that they were doing very well anyways since the start of the series, but and I can understand why. I understand why some people aren't really into this series. It's a little cookie cutter. It's a little this, it's a little that. But we're still going to be doing the reviews, as I said. It definitely has a beautiful opening cover page, a color cover page with young Suzu, old Suzu, I guess, if you want to call Shadowmai that, Shirogane, Matsuri, and Suzu herself. But there's a big problem with this chapter. I got two problems. Number one, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it straight out in the open before we lose all our daylight, because I'm not re-recording this again. Here's the deal. The whole point in moving, one of the big things is to be able to get away with even more than they were getting away with in Shonen Jump. I thought was part of the point. Everywhere I read said that, okay, Jump Plus gives a little more leeway with nudity. It gives a little more... They want to free the titties, right? Let's be real. They want to be able to draw the titties, see the titties, free the titties, okay? And still, even though this chapter is abundant with sexualized content, still blocking out the fullness of the titties, so I don't really get the point. If you wanted a break every other day, every once a week, or once a month, once a month, like Oda does, I'm sure it would have been just fine. Or maybe they moved to, maybe it's not the manga's choice. Manga was like, look, I just want to take a break, blah, 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 and they decided to move him over for no other reason. Maybe, I have no idea, but yeah. So the idea is that it's a bit of a beach episode. It's a bit of okay, let's just talk about this. Because I don't really care about the chapter, because it's supposed to be one of those meaningless, like, okay, we're seeing bathing suits, we're getting the titties and stuff, and we're getting the very sexualized positions. Stuff that, yeah, is it a little more sexualized and stuff like that? Yes, of course it is. It's a little more, it's getting more heavy and heavier on the Ichi and stuff, and of course for the first chapter, not in Shonen Jump, I would expect no less. Even though it's not as bad as I expected, I really did expect even worse. So that is a thing. The big problem here, the big problem I have is not that this is a beach episode, not that it's basically just a filler chapter with nothing else really going on, except for the very end part. But the fact of the matter is, it completely takes away from everything I fucking said in chapter 88. I still don't believe I was wrong. I believe this is absolutely ridiculous. And maybe it's a translation thing. I don't know. But pretty much, here's what the problem is that as Matsuri gets into an Ichi situation, instead of, here's the issue. There's a lot of issues here. There's so much. Listen, at the end of the day, the point is that she's in love with Matsuri beyond the physical. Being attracted and stuff, I very adamantly said this is not some coming out party. This is not some bullshit where it's like, okay, maybe she's bisexual or maybe she's actually a lesbian or any of this shit. I'm not completely, as I said, if that was the point of the story, it'd be a different thing. But we already had chapters, even though she's been attracted and stuff. See, here's the biggest problem with this chapter, is not that, because she has kissed Matsuri before, she's been attracted to Matsuri as a girl before, both physically and emotionally and stuff. But this chapter, 88 painted that perfectly clear, is that she's not just following her teenage hormones. She's not just about getting laid with Matsuri, regardless of gender. She actually is in love with Matsuri, regardless of gender. That was the message put across by the last chapter, chapter 88. And the problem is in chapter 89 here, it makes it seem like, no, that wasn't the case. It's purely physical. And now she's just, oh, now I'm bi-curious, or I'm bisexual, or whatever, or straight out lesbian. Maybe now she's no longer attracted to dicks. I don't know, because the chapter is making this absolutely ridiculous. And even young Suzu comes out and says she doesn't want to be a part of Suzu anymore like this. She was shocked at first about the, in chapter 88, young Suzu, the little Suzu, whatever you call her, she was like, really? You're not going to take this chance at happiness of the future you were supposed to have, blah, blah, blah. It was one of those, because where I am now and where Matsuri is now is a place we never would have gotten to without these situations happening, blah, blah, blah. 88 was good. But 89, other than this part, which I'm sort of glad that this is happening because I want them to reaffirm the message from 88 that I took away from it. Because I think I'm still freaking right. Because this is absolutely ridiculous because she basically goes into this idea that she might be, she's completely shadowmized, how is it to see Matsuri in such a miserable state? If your love for Matsuri diminishes, so will your power, and I will take your body. And then all of a sudden, she's getting all hot and flustered and horny over watching Matsuri being in a very compromised position in a bathing suit and stuff. It's getting her absolutely excited. Shirogane even comes in and says, "You absolutely shameless shrine wench! Jesus, what the hell are you doing? You need to be able to compose yourself, right?" And she's actually enjoying this part of it, and it's just absolutely ridiculous to me. Because that wasn't the point, and it's not really that part of it. It's not completely that part. The worst part is not during that's the case. The worst part in the chapter is that she thinks about the moment from chapter 88. This happens before all this. This happens before Matsuri's in a compromised position and Shadow Mai shows up and she's getting herself all hot and horny. I'm not against, because once again, this is an Ichi manga where to expect this. I'm not against the girl on girl action, whatever. I don't really care. The point is, her being hot and bothered sort of is taking away. But the reason it's taken away is not that she's getting hot and bothered, because she's got hot and bothered many times before with Matsuri as a girl. That's not the point. The point is that she is looking at Matsuri physically as a female and thinks about, I think I'm also in love with Matsuri as a girl from chapter 88 while lusting after her. Not thinking about being in love with Matsuri as a girl or a guy, as a person, regardless of gender. But instead goes this other stupid direction where they take that one panel. If they didn't have that panel, this chapter would be okay. It wouldn't be great, but it'd be okay. But the fact of the matter is that we argued against the idea of her completely sexualizing her relationship with Matsuri and all this shit, and for her to go, maybe I'm just thinking too much, Matsuri looks far sexier than before, by recognizing what she already knew, that she's in love with Matsuri, but also as a girl. It's just really taking away. This is not the way you do the bisexual coming out and stuff like that. I just don't. It's feeling so hollow and taking away everything that was established in chapter 88, which was a very good message about sexual identity, about gender identity. It had a solid message that skin deep. It fuck off. That's irrelevant. It matters for attractiveness, but being in love with somebody has almost nothing to do with physical appearance. That's hollow relationships. Physical appearance is only skin deep. And the idea that we were sending the message that regardless how ecchi this manga is, and regardless about all the hilarious situations they get in, is that Suzu does not. She wants Matsuri to turn back into a guy, but she does not dislike Matsuri as a girl, because she loves Matsuri no matter what. It had nothing to do physically, and it was purely heart, soul, and emotion. And they're tainting that, taking that well-deserved message, that actual good character development, and they're completely one-dimensionalizing it by turning into it a whole, we're gonna have some Yuri action. I'm okay if this manga was trying to showcase Suzu coming out as bisexual. I got no problem with that. But this is not how you do it. If you want to make Suzu bisexual, I don't care. I've assumed that she's been bisexual or bi-curious almost this entire fucking manga, given 89 chapters in. But that wasn't the point of chapter 88, and they tainted the big panel. That was the controversy that I saw. And they completely took away all the development, all the storytelling, all the plot relevance, the good message, and turned it into Suzu's gonna get wet for fucking Matsuri with tits now. They just completely flatlined, hentai plotted it. You know, Brazzers called and wants their plot line. And it's just so fucking irritating. Like, it just really is. So, I don't know what you guys thought of this chapter, but I didn't like it. I didn't care for it for that sole purpose. It's that one panel, or that one page, stealing the good message panel from the last chapter just to completely take away all the good meaning out of it, just for the point of sexualization. It's the only purpose. And it's not good. And that, I am glad for the one thing in this chapter, that even little Suzu's just like, no, this, like, Cheryl Gaines been saying it the whole time, but there's something really wrong here. There's something really wrong. And I hope this is going to be part of the point. I hope this is actually going to be brought up, because she is running away. She doesn't want to be a part of Suzu anymore, because she doesn't like her being like this. And because it is going this far is at a character. And Suzu herself had this great moment, and now retroactively, a chapter later, is now confusing lust with love all over again. And it takes away from her character, it takes away from a lot of things. So little Suzu seems to be me in this chapter, is basically being like, what the fuck is this type of character shit? Fuck this, you're not a good character anymore, I'm taking off. So I'm hoping for good reasoning from little Suzu as to why she's taking off. I hope it's relevant to what I'm talking about, because otherwise I'm really teetering on maybe not continuing on in this series. You know, not just because it left Shonen Jump. I don't really care where it is. It's just this really just took away everything that meant anything in chapter 88. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm losing daylight anyways. What do you guys think? Am I full of shit here? Am I just reading too much into it? Should I just enjoy the borderline hentai manga for what it is and stop thinking about actual characters and plot? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Fourth and most importantly, drink responsibly as always, as I always do. And we will see you guys back here next time, maybe for chapter 90, if it can establish a good reason to read it. So, I hope maybe you guys are looking forward to it, maybe you aren't. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. Have a good one. See you back here next time. Bye-bye.